Hello, my name is Waleed.
My name is Usama Sarouk.
Hi, I'm Daniel.
I'm Min.
My name is Josh. The topic of our presentation is on lean manufacturing. I'll now provide a brief introduction to both the background and history of this concept. Lean manufacturing began with a Toyota production system in the Japanese auto industry, which has evolved since the late 1950s, built upon the work of W. Edwards Deming. The main goal of lean manufacturing is to eliminate all three principles of waste, that of Muda, non-value adding activities, Muri, overburdening waste, and Mura, inconsistency. Reduce the need for managing large inventories and provide quality at the least cost by making quality control decisions an immediate part of their manufacturing process. According to Ronald 2001, lean manufacturing is a philosophy that incorporates a collection of principles, tools, and techniques into the business to optimize time, human resources, assets, and productivity, while improving the quality level of products and services to their customers. The concepts of lean are based on the foundational ideas that date back to F.W. Taylor in 1911 and Henry Ford, through their work of interchangeable parts and assembly flow. However, the practices of lean manufacturing were first used in Japan through Toyota's production system, with the fathers of the system being Sekishi Toyoda and his sons Kichiro Toyoda as well as Taishi Ono. The Toyota production system proposed as another system of standards for obtaining maximum economic efficiency with minimal resources. Toyota production systems' key was the elimination of any kind of waste. The approach of this basic principle was made by the concept of continuous improvement standards. In the 1980s, Japanese companies such as Toyota, Nissan, and Sony started to gain market leadership in North American and European markets. The sudden rise of these companies instilled fear into American companies, and it is here where, as Dave 2020 notes, the origins of lean manufacturing can be traced back to, as American companies began to fear their Japanese competitors would begin to take over the car industry. And it is these fears that drove academics and Western competitors to conduct a series of benchmarking activities in order to reach the roots of Japanese success, with the first set of results published in Womack Jones and Bruce's 1990 publication, The Machine That Changed the World. However, it is worthy to note that these aren't the only influential figures with accordance to lean. As Carnani and Vinizidini 2012 note, the concept of lean manufacturing incorporates important works stemming from Ono 1978 and Deming 1986. As Dave 2020 notes, key contributors to the evolution of the lean concept stem from key influential figures ranging from Eli Whitney, who made the first step in lean manufacturing through his concept of interchangeable parts, F.W. Taylor, who birthed scientific management with its main purpose to improve economic efficiency of workers, Gilbreth, who added his contribution into lean history through process mapping and motion study, Deming, who introduced statistic quality control and the famous Deming Circle, Shingo and Ono, who developed the Toyota production system, and finally, Henry Ford.
My name is Usama Sarouk, and I'll be addressing two barriers of achieving synchronization. I'll be discussing firstly what Kaizen is, which means continuous improvement. Then I'll be also discussing ways of involving everyone with aspects such as cell production. Then I'll pass it over to Waleed, who will be discussing ways of eliminating waste. Thank you, Josh. Now moving on to the key techniques of lean manufacturing. Kaizen. The word Kaizen is derived from two Japanese terms that signify good change or improvement, and in the context of lean management, it means continuous improvement. While the management seeks to remove inefficient procedures, Kaizen is the notion of constantly making incremental adjustments that result in major improvements. Kaizen is not one specific methodology, but rather an attitude based on cooperation and commitment, instead of radical top-down transformation. This lean manufacturing technique is rooted in the belief that everything can always be improved, nothing is status quo, and adaptability triumphs over perfectionism. The Kaizen process is divided into 7 steps. Involve employees, identify problems, create a solution, test the solution, analyze the results at various intervals and determine the success levels, standardize and repeat. The key advantages of using the cycle include a moderate approach to change that minimizes resistance and abandonment, waste reduction, enhanced morale and teamwork, and also an improvement in customer requirement awareness, which results in a shift in client emphasis. However, it is not suitable for every organization, particularly those with territorial culture and restricted communication, and short-term Kaizen approaches may only provide a brief burst of enthusiasm before being abandoned. Another lean manufacturing technique includes cell production. Cell production is a concept to bring all the equipment, people, and processes into a single location, designed to improve efficiency, quality, throughput. What makes cell production so different from departmental structure, which is more traditional, is you get a single piece flow that starts with the first machine and then it finishes with the last. A cell production approach allows you to have that product finished that day. There is minimal movement of product. There isn't any redundant activities in the cell that departmental processing allows for. So that means you get immediate feedback, you get process feedback, you get communication between workers who are always working next to each other that you don't really get across departments quite as easily as you do in a cell. So it's eliminating that waste time, that lost time, the handling of moving things from location to location are all immediate benefits of using a cell. However, there are a few disadvantages of using this lean manufacturing technique. For example, cell production may not allow firms to use its machinery as efficiently as in flow production, and therefore output will be lower than mass production as a result. Additionally, the requirement of skilled labor means that organizations have to spend a lot of money on training and recruitment in order to implement this lean technique.
Eliminating waste is crucial for achieving lean synchronization. Through our module readings and literature review, we were able to find authors such as Slack and Brandon Jones, alongside gurus such as Deming and Uno, suggested that there were 4 key methods for eliminating waste. These were streamlined flows, increased flexibility, reducing the effects of variability, and meeting demand precisely. Match demand. We must address just-in-time techniques such as Kanban and pull control systems to meet demand precisely. Just-in-time emphasizes the idea of producing items only when they are needed. And as a methodology, just-in-time aims to reduce flow times, costs within the production systems, and distribution of materials. Now, the exact matching of supply and demand is often best done by pull control systems, wherever possible. Now, this is the reason we talk about Kanbans. The use of Kanbans is one method of operationalizing control, pull control. Now, Kanban is Japanese for card or signal. In its simplest form, it is a card used by a customer stage to instruct a supplier stage to send more items. However, Kanban can also take various other forms. In modern warehouses, we see the use of barcodes, and alongside this, whichever Kanban is being used, the principle always remains the same. The receipt of a Kanban triggers a movement. Now, some of the barriers or disadvantages we identified with this were cost and coordination. This may create a conflict within the employment relationship, so lean manufacturing procedures may necessitate a comprehensive revamp of manufacturing systems, which may result in employee stress and rejection. Streamlined flows and flexibility. It may be possible to encourage small streamlined flows through the use of small-scale technologies, that is, using small units of process technology rather than one large unit in component manufacture, for example. First, they may be able to produce different products and services simultaneously. The system may be more robust. If one large machine breaks down, the whole system won't cease to operate. And alongside this will reduce downtime and bottlenecks. However, some barriers and disadvantages we identified with this were that investment in capacity may increase the total because parallel facilities may be needed, so utilization may be lower. And the cost of educating the staff may also increase significantly. Reducing the effects of variability. Level scheduling of Hajunka means keeping the mix and volume of flow between stages even over time. Figure 11 shows 3 products that are produced in a production unit. Now, looking at scheduling in large batches, day 1, the unit commences delivering product A. During day 3, the batch of 600 is finished and dispatched to the next stage. Now, a batch of B's is started but is not finished until day 4. And the remainder of day 4 is spent making the batches of C. And both of these batches are dispatched at the end of the day. Now, the cycle then repeats itself. Now, due to this, relatively large amounts of inventory queues can accumulate. Now, using a Hajunka, flexibility of the unit can be increased to the point where batch sizes for products are reduced to a quarter, but the capacity is still kept the same. Now, figure B shows batch sizes A 150, B 50, and C 50. A batch of each now can be completed in a single day, at the end of which the 3 batches are dispatched together, thus reducing work in progresses. The barrier we identified with this was mainly related to suppliers. So as small amount of inventories are kept at hand, employee strikes, transportation delays, or quantity mistakes can have a drastic effect here. And now I will pass you over to Min to talk about some current implementation of these practices.
My name is Min. I'll be talking about current lean practices in organizations such as Intel, Toyota, and a tire manufacturer in India. Intel is another organization that uses lean manufacturing practices, and it is required due to the nature of the business, as due to not only manufacturing but also supplying CPUs and many other Internet of Things requires them to be on the ball on quality and wastage. The sector requires a zero defect rate approach or lower wastage due to who they supply, such as Acer, HP, Dell, and many other computer brands. Alongside this, the complicated nature of the CPUs means that the high wastage and defect rate could cost Intel millions. To combat this, Intel uses their smart factories and lean manufacturing approaches, such as end-to-end infrastructure and automation of the factory, for example, by reducing downtime. IT servers and networks help relay back the information back and forth to the engineers. Automation connected to the servers as well allow to relay the information back. The manufacturing execution system helps to track equipment storage that is required alongside the data collected and help support the factory. Automated decisions analyzes the factory floor, such as equipment status and failure rate as well. This has allowed a 60% reduction in idle time compared to the target of 40% in idle time. This has allowed many workers and engineers who have implemented the changes by reducing the business processes. Toyota is the originators and creators of lean manufacturing, as well as the creators of Kaizen or continuous improvement, and we have seen Kaizen used in many Japanese factories. However, has become more globalized and used in many different countries such as South Africa manufacturing industries. However, before the use of Kaizen, these factories were scattered and unorganized, such as workers working multiple tasks. This has led to many issues such as mistakes happening due to no standardized process for the workers, inability to gain resources and deliveries to the factory floor, which increased production time, as well as the layout and the factory were not optimized, leading to more confusion and increased uptime into the factories. As it says here, when one process was completed, work process piled up in another floor, causing more confusion. However, with strong commitment to improvement to Kaizen, such as the process control, the factory layout and deliveries to the factories were drastically improved, and the implementation of first in, first out, inventory management and one-piece flow led to increase in organization and production as well as the reduction in unnecessary waste, such as the use of making their own trolleys and racks out of scrap metal help reduce unnecessary waste, as well as this resulted in quality improvement, reduced by 1.6 million and revenue increased by 25%. The aspect that has been made infamous by Toyota and used by many organizations worldwide is the use of Kanban and just-in-time. We can see this highly successful in many organizations such as General Motors, Hewlett Packard, Honda, Nissan, and many more. And the use of just-in-time has increased product quality by 43%. However, I'm going to shift the focus onto not only Kanban, however, on smaller scale industries and organizations such as tire manufacturer in India. The organization heavily invested and dedicated heavily into Kanban and most importantly the process of signaling. The creation of a board and wanting to remain simplistic to not only appease to managers and workers, as it allowed to delegate and understand what processes were going on. The colored board was color coded red, yellow and green. This represents different states of work in progress. For example, red A would show low work in progress. This means that managers could delegate work towards red A, allowing to understand the process and allowing managers to but also employees help increase productivity. We can see a cost reduction of 315,000 per annum due to reduction in work in progress, increased output from reductions in changes, as well as machine uptime and reduced defects as well. Finally, we're going to show a 30-second clip of lean manufacturing using Caterpillar. As Caterpillar designs, develops and manufactures engines, it is one of the largest construction equipment manufacturers.
We created visual kits so they could get their material rapidly. We created sub-assemblies that could be done offline and reduce their assembly time.
You also use a lot of robotics in this plant. How does that help you in the production?
So two key ways. One was safety, because use of robotics can really improve our ergonomics. And the other way is efficiency. Sometimes we could put in a robot and we could have a person that's very, very knowledgeable produce 3 or 4 or 5 times what they normally would.
So therefore, actually, from a quality perspective as well, it actually also improves engine quality.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we hold tolerances here as tight as 8 microns, which is like 1/10 the width of a human hair.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I will provide conclusion as well as editing whole presentation. Summary. This presentation talked about lean manufacturing and its relevance to business operations in the modern world. The evolution of lean manufacturing throughout the decades was presented, providing examples of key goals and founders of this concept. Moreover, Kaizen, Kanban and cell production techniques were discussed and assessed as key processes. We also acknowledged waste reduction as one of the lean manufacturing goals, and we included methods to achieve it. Lastly, Intel and Toyota, alongside small-scale organizations such as tire manufacturer, were presented as role model corporations that effectively use lean manufacturing processes.